Welcome to the Blackout Show, presented by the Guillen Grid, a show about the Chicago White Sox baseball, the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll debate what's working and what's not on the south side of Chicago. It's old school versus new school baseball. And most importantly, we're keeping all the receipts.
Hey, it's Gonzo here. With me tonight is Justin Lee and Ozzie Guillen Jr.
What's happening?
Boys, breaking news. Pending a physical, Mike Clevinger is back on the roster with the Chicago White Sox. Justin, you don't look too thrilled. Why, man?
Because, to be honest with you, the White Sox wasted every happy bone in my body. So as much as I want to be elated for the return of Mike Clevinger, I can just be normal. Vanilla, the left side of Neapolitan ice cream. At the end of the day, Gonzo, much of the good people in White Sox Twitter are going to hate this move. Guess what? So goddamn what?
Yeah, why can't we just keep this to a baseball discussion? Like,
they hate that he's good at baseball.
Well,
and
I think,
go ahead.
No, you can go. No. I think that the part that's very interesting, I could see them getting crazy if it was like Trevor Bauer, because he hasn't been on the team yet. But Clevinger pitched the whole season after they did this whole thing. The guy came out to gold digger. You know, they could have kept investigating him. They kept on doing all those things, and they, he pitched for the team already. So it wasn't. I think that the shock was, I guess, people were more on that one. The timing of it was a little bit surprising, but I was shocked how they how it was like a replay of like when they had signed him, and that whole thing came out for the first time. So I'm gonna be honest, man. This is a society and a world where people make up their minds no matter what. In the public eye, you're guilty until you're guilty, and even if you're proven innocent, you're still guilty depending on who you are. Because I'm a person that I keep it real, and if I see you tweeting and you have a picture of Kobe Bryant and you say "girl dad," mind you, nothing against Kobe. I like Kobe as a basketball player, but you're writing "girl dad" and all that, but then you're like ripping other athletes for things that happen. I think you're full of shit. You're a hypocrite. Why? Everybody knows what happened in Colorado, and allegedly because we have a play-by-play of like what both people said that happened. There was consensual, but so there's like two worlds, and that's the part where I'm like, unless you're someone that's like 100% and you're not going to watch sports because you don't like this Mike Clevinger, and I don't want to rant, but I'm going to say right now,
get it off your chest.
No. Like I understand like the domestic, and again, anybody can, but there was people saying that they were going to move states. There's people that like always talking about mental health, and again, I'm in recovery myself from alcoholism. I'll say it, and these people are on there like ripping other human beings like Clevinger, which is fine, but it's like again the hypocritical, the double standard. That's the part where I get frustrated. On that same note, somebody wrote an article, one of the pages, one of the 7,000 podcasts, and the wording that they used, alleged abuser, alleged this, you could do that to any human being. And then they use the word called, it's philanderer. Basically, you're having sex with multiple people out there. I'm sorry, But when I have to start worrying about what player, married or not, is having sex of any kind, unless it's not with a minor, either meaning boy, girl, whatever it is, that's none of my business. That's whoever he's dating in whatever relationship he's tied. So like, if we're gonna start judging guys on like this guy's a cheat, like I got Juan Gonzalez and Frank Thomas, but I like Frank Thomas because Juan Gonzalez is known to, you know, cheat on his wife, for example. And there's stories out there about that. Like, that's not baseball to me. And I'm going to be honest with these people out there. Baseball players are like everybody in the real world. When you look around your workplace, I know there's a lot of weirdos there. There's a lot of people that have a lot of skeletons in their closet. Baseball's like that. It's real life. They're putting these people up there where there's guys that have crazier pasts or wilder things have happened. So like, that's the part where like we're taking it like they're sitting on a hill of like they keep bashing it, and it's like it's becoming a funny joke now of every situation, because they're not judging it and they're just going to keep bringing it up, and it goes back to the same storyline, and then they keep beating it, and every time he has a start, they're like against it, but they're at the stadium. I don't get that. Like, they're against, and this kind of melts over towards the Jerry part. Like, they hate Jerry, but they're at the ballpark and they're on the Twitter, like, and they're writing, and everybody's like on that. So I just think it's weird. And then for the people, that was just for the fans. And again, the fans, I'm not going to tell you how to fan. That's your prerogative. But for the people that make money from the White Sox and baseball players, if you're in the media, and today I wrote about it with Ryan McGuff, that he said something about Eloy, and I said that I admired him because Ryan is every day in the clubhouse. So he has to see Eloy. That takes a lot of manhood, and players respect that. But there's a lot of people in the media that make money off the White Sox that cover this team that rip players. They rip Clevinger. They're calling him out. They're saying he's a bad father, like things that are not even in the thing, like personal opinions. Yet they've never, if they ask for a credential, they're never there in the stadium to ask him those questions. Like, be Joe Colley and ask the uncomfortable question. Like, be Ryan and say what you're going to say, and then face it. Go up to Mike Clevinger and say, hey, how do you feel that they gave you a second chance after being blamed for this, this, and this? Like, go in at it. Like, don't sit behind your platform and rip somebody, because then, you know, the funny part is when you see that person face to face, you bow the knee and you don't say anything and you shut up. Because how do I know that? Because that's what happens with Ozzy. That's what happens with me. I see guys all the time in the ballpark and they don't say anything. I'll say hi and they're like, and same thing with Ozzy. So like the Mike Clevinger thing on that, again, and that could be a chance in today's baseball, and that's how I'm going to close it out. In today's baseball world, in any sports world, when you sign a player, okay, you're opening that player not just to his baseball talent, but everything that happens with his life. Sexuality, what he's wearing, what he eats, what he doesn't eat. So teams are they're gonna mess up. They're gonna sign a guy just like they say this player is gonna be good, and the player ends up being not good. They're gonna say, man, this guy's a great human being, and you sign him, and he's not a great human being. Why? Because every single time that we see all these cases of human beings doing horrible things, it's always somebody that's like a nice guy. Like, oh yeah, this guy was great. We worked with him for 9 years, but he was doing X, Y, and Z. And it comes out after the fact. So teams, like, if fans are going to start holding up teams like, you can't make a mistake on this, it's impossible, because you really don't know what human beings are doing in their private lives. And what are owners going to do? Like, get private detectives and like start like, you know, tracking cell phones and what players have conversation wise. So like, it is a different world, but I now know that teams are going to make mistakes on guys when they sign them and something comes up in the future. Again, with Clevinger, and only to the Clevinger case, he was accused. Okay. He was investigated multiple times. And then he was here. Is Mike Clevinger might be a bad husband, bad boyfriend, maybe not the best father. That's to them to decide. But legally, if he can work at Walmart, he should be able to play baseball.
So, and I just want to close it on this too. In my opinion, everybody who say Mike Clevinger is a distraction, they're lying. because the people that talk about baseball don't bring up his past and the elements that you deem a distraction. That's only for a certain crowd and a corner of people that use that element as a talking point. They never talk about Clevinger going 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 0 runs on the hook for a win. They didn't talk about Mike Clevinger, one of the few White Sox starters in the last 5 years to give us 8 consecutive quality starts. Like, why don't we talk about that situation?
Well, Justin, also in the drama of all the clubhouse, because there's no secret in the White Sox clubhouse. We're hearing about guys getting smacked in the face, guys
People falling asleep.
Every rumor came out for this year's team, and mind you, I've heard way worse on way better teams. Like nothing that was said was like surprising in a clubhouse, but nothing came out about Mike Clevinger. Nothing, and that's usually when nothing comes out. That means your teammates tolerate you.
Hey, OJ, that might be the distracting part. The fact that these people are digging for a controversy. They're distracted
maybe.
from the big picture.
Well, maybe, and then they're saying like, "Oh, he's not friends with so and so." Like they're judging other people. I put up a picture of Mike Clevinger actually the day before his option got picked up at a wedding with Zach Plesac. I'm friends with, obviously closer friends with C's, closer friend with Plesac and C's, and that's how I know Clevy. And again, like people rip me like I was like that. I got accused for like what he did. And again, people in baseball are friends. And is he a little eccentric? And this is the part where I think people don't believe in Chris Getz. And again, I'm going to call the fans out and say that they're full of shit. No, I'm going to say this because if you believe in Chris Getz as a fan and you're like, Chris Getz is the greatest GM ever and Chris is this, then trust Chris Getz when he's building a good clubhouse. He's literally brought in people to the clubhouse and to his team, and he gets critiqued for it that he's very comfortable with, okay? That he's like building a culture, taking guys that might not be the greatest players, but he's taking guys that are like are going to fit his mold with Pedro Grifol, which we know how he is as a manager. He's not an Ozzie Guillen or a guy that might want a guy that's wild. Pedro's a very strict guy, very straightforward. You know Pedro Grifol, he ain't messing around. Like Pedro's very straightforward, religious guy. Like if you know him personally, he's not a non-nonsense guy when it comes to that. You're going to bring that guy back. You think if any of those factors they didn't want him, they would have all said, we're not going to bring this guy back? Think about it.
I just, as far as the baseball side of it.
They didn't bring Tim Anderson back at a lower price because they might have thought he was a distractor. So in hindsight, they think TA is a bigger distractor
than Mike Clevinger.
Chris Getz is telling everybody that. And people are saying, we believe in Chris Getz, but now we don't believe in Chris Getz. So you're either all in or you're not in like what Chris is trying to build. You just can't switch every day of like what he's doing.
I just don't know why they could have made this decision a whole lot sooner in the offseason.
Well, again, Gonzo, I told Ozzie Guillen that at dinner. I said, and I told it to Chuck at the game last night when we were eating dinner. I said, the only thing that I would critique if I was the owner, or if I was an advisor to the owner, like in Venezuela, what I do for work on my side job, I would tell him, I'd say, how come we didn't make this move in the beginning of spring training? And he goes, and they asked me why. And I said, because if I'm a GM in New York or somewhere else, I'm smelling panic and saying we didn't start good. We need to go get an arm and we need somebody to eat innings. So what did they see? I'm thinking like, was it Thorpe? Was it the kid Hyro that they signed? Was it Nastrini? Like, obviously it's not Crochet because he's pitching well. So it's like, what happened in their plan that they were like, oh my God, break the glass, bring a guy who can eat innings. His name's Clevinger.
I think I know.
What is it? He won't be ready till May, by the way.
No, yeah, but I think you know who probably won't be on the roster in May? Probably Flexen.
But that's the thing. You would have been able to complete your rotation by having Clevinger to begin with. You wouldn't have signed Flexen, and then you would have had probably Nastrini make the roster as your fifth starter.
By the way, Heineken 0-0, so don't people say, oh, you're sober, but you're 0-0.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried.
Gonzo, I think with what they seen from the eye test from Soroka and Flexen, that made Getz a little bit uncomfortable. At least, he could have went in his back pocket with the Clevinger signing. So we do have help on the way in about a month and a half time. I think that sweet spot in the rotation, I think Flexen the odd man out because like Soroka's not missing any bats either, but I don't
think starting pitching is a problem, my friend. Sitting with the old man, starting pitching is not. That's why I can't guess for guess. I don't. Again, he's not the problem. He is a problem to guys that are facing him.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, like I don't see when I look at the White Sox, the body of work for the first couple games. I don't see. Oh my God, this pitching is so bad. They're gonna have to get pitching. Like that's not what rings the bell. So like I can't guess on why they made this move so late. I really can't. It's just all speculation. But I'm on the boat with Gonzo. If I was ever thinking about this move, I'm making this move right after the Cease trade at the latest, or right before. Maybe it was a negotiation thing. Maybe something that no one's talking about because again, Clevinger, nobody wants him because he's a bad apple. And we saw it with a lot of bigger name signings. We saw bigger name guys. Sometimes when guys go in the market, man, your general manager is telling you that you're worth 2-year, $20 million, and teams are not buying that. Teams are like,
well, shit. I mean, look at how late Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell signed. So I don't think we could tie it a specific situation to Clevinger in regards to the White Sox.
I saw Jermaine Dye turn down $8 million for the Cubs. I believe it was the team because it wasn't enough money because he thought the market was higher for him and he retired. So maybe Clevinger. By the way, Clevinger got $4 million to just go home. Like, hey, the buyout between. So he was already making $4 million. So maybe it was like, I don't feel like sitting out another year because I'm healthy. I'll just sign with whoever. The White Sox are here. So it might have been a contract negotiation thing.
I think it was more so Cease negotiating a deal for Cease because they didn't know what assets they were going to get out of that package at the end of the day.
So here's my question, Gonzo, for you.
Yeah, for you.
How about this? No, because this is like the conspiracy theory. Do you think that the White Sox might have panicked on the Cease move? And they were thinking for Cease later, and then they thought, oh my God, all the deals are going to be done, and then they went and took, and that's why they only got 2 top 100. That's only the reason they got 100 prospect because of the panic.
Yeah, that's exactly it for me.
Gonzo, you would,
but at the same time,
have been satisfied unless you got Spencer Jones in a trade for Dylan Cease.
Hold on. So at the end of the day, though, he's a hell of an asset arm to pick up. But if you're doing it to use him as a trade asset, no one's going to pick him up at the deadline because he's got this reputation around the league from the owners. So at the end of the day, I really think this comes back to the culture because, like, there's no point to tanking this season when you can't get a top 10 pick from it.
Well, I don't think you should tank, period.
But you got to bring a reliable arm in the rotation at the end of the day. So for me, it's win-win. So Justin, a lot of decisions ahead for this rotation with who that fifth starter is going to be and when that person is going to come in there. This is Grifal's Grounds.
I don't have a problem making decisions. I don't have a problem making a call on a pitcher. I don't have a problem making a call on whatever our team needs at this particular moment.
All right, guys. So going into the performance by Garrett Crochet, Grifal could have easily taken him out at the 6th inning. And for sure, in that 7th inning after that solo shot, he could have got someone in right away. And I know OJ was taking a shot at me in the group chat, sending to take him out. I said, no, let him finish. And Grifal does it. He allows the kid to finish the inning, and he does. And let me ask both of you, when my boy Cease was here last year, how many times I say to you guys, Grifal took him out a bit too early, in my opinion. He didn't give him he didn't give him any trust. Not only did Pedro.
Are you fucking kidding?
Hold on. Not only did Pedro give the ball to Garrett to be his opening day pitcher, that very first chance of going to grab him, he didn't do it. He allowed the kid to stay in there, get out of it, and then it sets him up for the win after his quality start. going 7 and striking out 8.
I'm going to be very honest
awesome.
on that. When you're comparing them to, and again, I'm not saying that Crochet is where Cease is at right now. I don't think Cease ever threw the ball as dominant as Crochet has, meaning the first 2 games of just the ball just coming out of his hand. Like, just like.
Last year, you remember last year?
The first game in Houston, trust me. When you got guys.
Cease went 3 straight starts.
When you look at the pitch count, okay, and that's where I think I'm gonna put my hand in the fire here for Pedro. Crochet's getting himself in trouble with low pitch counts of like you're not taking him to 120, 130. Cease was getting himself in trouble where like you might have to take him to those
and that's my point. Like that's the difference. Like how the hell?
Time out. No. Opening day last year, Cease had a very efficient game with his pitch count.
Okay, but how many of those? Okay.
But that's the point, Justin. That's the point right now.
I want to speak. First of all, Gonzo, you know Dylan Cease is not an efficient pitcher. He hasn't ever pitched as efficiently as Garrett Crochet pitched the last 2 starts.
That wasn't the point.
Yeah, you're asking him why isn't he getting the leeway for an extra inning? Dylan Cease is at 110 pitches through the 5th. Garrett Crochet was at 87 through 6. Do the math. It's an easy decision.
I find him sexy. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's an easy decision.
If he has no pitch limit, like no inning limit, he's sexy. Again, the ball comes out of his hand is because he's doing something that very little pitchers in Major League Baseball can do today. And that is, in 100 pitches, get through 7 innings.
Do you see how many hitters get dispatched with Garrett Crochet in 5 or less pitches? 5 or less, Gonzo.
He's very efficient with his sub, which is not normal in today's game. He's not out there trying to figure out, which I call the Jolito, like, is my ball here, my 3/4? Oh, like, how's it going to come? Oh, did I strike him out? Was my spin rate good enough to be a spin rate? The Crochet is up there, like, he's just like, here you go.
Strike 1.
Strike 1, strike 2. Strike figure out. But here's the other part, though. On that note, I've sensed some more aggressiveness from Pedro with the pitchers. And here's the thing, Gonzo. Put up a point for Mr. Grifol. I always judge pitch managers, first-year managers to second-year managers. Pedro's first-year manager with the bullpen and the pitching staff, a little timid. Maybe didn't want to give C's. Maybe didn't want to lose him. So maybe he was a little timid in the year of the 100-game loss. In the first 5 games of this year, we have seen him more aggressive in multiple ways. Not only has he left starters a little bit longer and let them deal with it, I think if it's Pedro last year, he takes out Kopech. And he said, nah, you're getting yourself out of this, brother.
Yep.
He's done it twice already. Bases loaded versus Detroit. And then last night, he said, you're either going to win.
I was there. I was there opening day. I see.
So twice he's let the cart. He's let the he's been aggressive, saying, "Hey, you get yourself out of this." So Pedro, point on that one, and then on the pinch hitting, he's also been more aggressive. Where
let's go,
keep moving guys, and I like that. Why? Pinch hitters are not always going to win you games, but if you have a better hitter on the bench, you have to pull the lever. He didn't do it game 1, but he did it. He did it last night. The young, went deep
off the bench.
So I think I'm going to give Grifol a positive on Grifol this week on being more aggressive. And again, that can be a part of growing again as a manager, which I would hope again that if the longer he's in the position, the better he will get and more comfortable. So positive on the aggressiveness on that.
Gonzo, I waited 3 days for us to discuss this part on the show. When Paul DeYoung hit that home run in the bottom of the 7th against the Braves, I damn near pulled up to you and asked you to give Grifol his flowers because you asked him to press the button. He pressed the button. And
that's why he has him there. But that's why he has him there, though. It's a better matchup. If the Young strikes out, it is what it is. The other guy was probably going to do the same. It's a better matchup. He did it twice. Pinch hitter.
It's a baseball move. It's a typical baseball move.
It was a good move.
And I want to say this
one
real quick.
Good baseball move out of 5 games.
Gonzo, I'm finna hit you upside the head right now. Garrett Crochet is closer to Mark Burley than he is Chris Sale. Think about that.
He's like a combination.
Look at it. like a combination, right? Chris Sale's velocity with Mark Burley's tempo and cadence on the mound. You got
I
to
think he doesn't think he's smart. Like, I think he's just there. Like, he doesn't think he's as good as he is.
He's a
just out there,
caveman.
like, he's just like, I'm just gonna like. I look at him. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was sitting next to a World Series manager, and he was like, "Whoa!" Like his stuff. Like when he's on, and I told you guys, because I thought again, just like a lot of people, that he was going to be in a 3-inning limit, but they've let him loose, and if he's not on an inning limit, this guy right now, the way that he's throwing, he's going to be up there in that ace world, and he's going to be up there for some hardware, because he was looking very, 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 very nasty.
Man, look,
that was a bold prediction of mine that you missed, but it's okay. I'll tell it to you right now. Garrett Crochet is going to be at the All-Star game.
Oh, for sure. He's 25. He's what? He's got 2 more starts this month. He did it.
I want to say this season.
I think
not a lot of starts to do it.
No.
And he's already in a hell of a beginning.
I think that the way that everybody's pitched, and when you're looking out there again, Bieber, there's again, Evaldi had a good game today. I think when you look at on paper, the most dominating one, considering who he is and who he was, it's the best story. You know, this guy went from like, he's not on the rotation, opening day starter, 2 amazing starts, 1-run games. Then he dominates again yesterday, one of the best offensive teams in the league. Again, a World Series champion team. So I'm big on the Crochet side. On that side, though, I was disappointed in Pedro.
Here we go.
No, not disappointed. It wasn't a baseball move. Pedro needs to stop defending everything that happens in his team. He needs to start saying, like, that's nobody's business. Your first base coach was not in the box. I would probably bet a lot of money and be 99.9% sure that he was probably in the bathroom. Okay? Which happens all the time.
People, you mean to tell me people go to the bathroom every day?
Correct. Every day.
Okay.
And it happens. I've seen umpires. I've seen
Lamar Jackson.
I've seen my own father. I've seen AJ Brzezinski at one point. I believe it was him catching. Again, when you're a bat boy and you're a young kid and you're a bat boy, and guy runs up to the bathroom, hey, let me know when there's 1 out, 2 outs. It happens. Okay. It's funny. Guys are all laughing. He runs out. But for him to say that he was in a room trying to move outfielders, and then he lost track of time because he was looking at video coaching, I'm going to go on that. I think that's a load of crap.
But I don't think he would have got a lot of flack if he was straight up honest.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He just needs to be honest and saying, hey, man, this guy was in the bathroom. Like, you don't need to make it a point of, like, defending every situation. Like, you need to, like, double down. Like, that's why when Ozzy said the thing about the clubhouse is because it's becoming a problem. Every single time that there's an interview or something, the clubhouse culture is great. We don't care. Like, when you say that it's great, it probably means that it's not. Like, you don't have to sell something that's happening organically. So, like, I feel like he needs to, like, learn on that of just let it go. Like, say your point, but let it go. Like, you don't have to defend, like, when you don't have to. It is what it is.
But OJ, I want to go back to Garrett Crochet here, because I don't want this to go under the radar of this performance. I want to break it down with you guys. Let's just be straight up with everybody. All 3 of us are baseball guys. We're not analytic guys.
Really?
But when we can fit the analytics into baseball,
guess what, Gonzo?
We're gonna show it. We're gonna show it.
Gonzo,
my least part.
Let me guess, Gonzo. Let me see. Educated guess. His spin rate and everything was off the charts. I didn't need a
hold on. We're gonna
Junior,
we're gonna bring it all together. All right.
Oh my God! I'm
gonna pop it on the screen for you. I'm gonna pop it on the screen for you. Because I want to go over something really in particular.
Gonzo,
that's not even a pie chart.
This is like when you read a book. This is the Cliff Notes.
Yes, this is the Cliff Notes, and we're going to talk about something very specifically. But real quick, all right. 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 18 whiffs. We can go crazy with whiffs. We'll leave that to our pitching ninja and other guys and stat nerds. But I really want to bring this up in particular
nerds.
because of the whiff percentage on that cutter. This was a guy that didn't have a cutter last year. And his first start, I think he only threw it 3 times, if I remember right. If you look at the count, right, 93 pitches, right? Obviously, the fastball is thrown 54% of the time. Slider was next with 23. But that cutter was the 3rd pitch, not the changeup. And that cutter was thrown 14 times. And the whiff percentage on the cutter was 37.5%. Give you reference, that was his 3rd best pitch. Not the 4-seam, which is crazy because that thing was, no one was touching that, even seeing it at all. The slider was the best pitch. And again, Justin, you're the one that really loves the backdoor slider that he's throwing, which is clearly at 46.2%. That's his best pitch. But I really wanted us to focus on this cutter because I know the 3 of us were wondering where that changeup was going to go, but he's not even playing with that yet. He's bringing out this cutter, and that's so nasty, OJ, because I want to hear about from how you were seeing it, because me and Justin, when we were seeing, I think it was the 3rd or 4th inning, I can't remember. I think it was maybe Ozuna. He struck out with the backdoor cutter on the outside half of the plate.
No, it was Darno.
Who was it?
Darno.
Yeah, it was.
Ozuna hit the bomb and that chased him.
Yeah.
But he K'd Darno.
But the fact that he was able to plant that he's able to utilize that on the outside part of the plate, because he's been just dotting that fastball on the outside as well. That's going to be dangerous because it's the same slot angle, same type of movement.
I think that's why the cutter is why his slider is so devastating, because the hitters see the same pitch out of the hand, but one takes a dive to your back foot, the other one sits right at the front door corner. I'm just speaking if you're a right-handed hitter. So you're kind of handcuffed because he's not delivering a ball 60 feet, 6 inches away. It's more like 56 feet if you get his wingspan or whatever, an extension. So he's literally handing you a ball in a very uncomfortable spot as a hitter. You have very little time to react. I want to talk about the home run that Marcell Ozuna hit, because I'm not going to say it was lucky because he's a slugger. That's what he do. He was guessing. And he guessed right.
Oh, yeah, he guessed wrong, of course. But that's what you got to. So here's the thing, Justin, on that point of what you're saying. A lot of guys are going to have to hit off of him guessing.
Yeah.
Because when your fastball's like that, and what I like is that he's in the zone. And anytime he got out of the zone, it looked like it was like I throw hard enough and I want to get out of the zone, I can get out of the zone. But he's very well controlled within there. I want to give credit to like maybe Martin Maldonado or the pitching coaches to the game that
Catch slam.
Because any other time we would have seen that change up 14 more times and maybe for 5 bombs. Okay. Why? A change up at 91, it's not really making a change up. So a really quick adjustment, but a cutter at 91. Okay. So if you have a fastball, and when you look at a fastball, a slider, and a cutter, it all starts the same.
Yeah.
So now when you're guessing at that speed, if you got to guess the right one, because one's gonna come at you rise, the other one's gonna cut, and the other one's gonna slide. So if you don't guess your timing right, it's all coming out from the same slot in the same angle at the same speed, and it changes right at the break. So that's when you have to go in and say, okay, we're gonna sit on the fastball. And the hard part is when those guys are throwing for strikes, it's like Caitlin Clark from the 3-pointer. You can't defend it. It's like
you can't defend it.
You can't defend it. Like you tip your cap and say, hey, have a good day. You're going for it. And you're going to give up sometimes when the guy does guess right and do that. But I like the knowledge of you can look the analytics and say, hey, what are they having success with hitting wise? Okay. And they saw that the changeup wasn't working. And that's what good starters do. The great ones can do it real quick. If I have a 4 or 5 pitch arsenal, dominate 3. If my slider's not working or my changeup, I'm going to switch it up. And if he's able to do that, he'll have success in the league. But again, I think that the throwing strikes, when you're in that zone, you're not throwing balls, you're going to have to swing because you're going to take first pitch strike, Second pitch strike, and now you're hitting with 2 strikes. Good luck. Anything, you're going down. And that's why he's got a strikeout per inning, basically, is his ratio. And the part that's wild, man, is, again, today's game and age. The pitch efficiency, he looks like a guy from the 90s. He ain't walking nobody. He's not walking anybody at all. He's not walking anybody. So when you're not walking, remember, players today are taught, get on base.
Yeah.
So you're giving up pitches. No one's first pitch hunting. So this guy is like, my best pitch to hit is going to be the first pitch I'm going to get in that bat. Now it's like you're cooking half my at bat, because now I'm like, this guy throws strikes. I'm done. I'm done.
So look and check it out. And this is another superpower with Garrett Crochet, because let's just be honest here. Comfortable hitters are the hitters that walk. Period. Yeah. Nobody walks by. Nobody gets lucky. A pitcher could throw 4 balls to the backstop. You swing at 1, you're not going to get a walk. What Garrett Crochet is doing, he's making sure that you're automatically uncomfortable from pitch 1.
But that's a word, uncomfortable. Garrett Crochet is one of the first pitchers in a long time for the White Sox, and I saw it at Kopech at times when they're hitting. But again, he throws too many balls. When you're hitting and you're not comfortable, hitting is already hard as it is. When you're uncomfortable, it's that much harder. And guys look uncomfortable when you're looking at the next game that you guys watch guys' feet in the box. Like you're kind of like, you're not like, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm not moving. You're not comfortable. Like, you're seeing really good hitters kind of like try to feel it out. And we'll see how the season goes along. And I thought it was maybe Detroit. You got a lot of guys that jump at the ball, not a lot of veterans season. The Atlanta Braves take great at-bats, amazing at-bats. I actually want a matchup. I actually want them to face the Guardians, because I think the Guardians, a team that I watch every day, they take great at-bats. So I want to see how uncomfortable they're going to look, because it seems like guys are like, they're trying to like to really figure it out when they're in the zone. So I think he's a positive, man. I think that if they found a starter and he continues this way, they might have found their ace. They might have found their, they went from Sale to Cease to Sale, back and forth, and then now it might be him. So a pitching staff of him, eventually, the other kid, the Schultz kid, if he comes up quick, if they both develop the way they're supposed to be doing, it's going to be a very nasty, road trip for teams when they come in, because there won't be easy guys to face.
Yeah, but like also to emphasize there, how OJ, you're saying where he's locating, there was no trend either. Like, he could go cutter outside, slider in, but for the fact that he was dotting that cutter both sides of the plate, it made those at bats that much more uncomfortable, and making him that much more dangerous to go up against. And again, I also want to emphasize the fact, OJ, you said no walks. Mind you, this is a kid that hasn't had those starts since college. So for the fact that
correct. And here's the part mentally. Most times when guys get up there,
amazing.
Okay, you're a starting pitcher, especially with the part that I like about his mentality is you think that he's babying the ball. Kind of like Kopech. Like, you're like, I gotta go 5 innings. So you're like, you kind of want to feel for it. This guy's going out there like they just told him, I'm closing the game. Like, he's just like boom, 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 boom. I'm not really worried about, like, this is my last inning. Every inning he pitches like it's his last inning. He's not really feeling for the ball of like, oh, his fastball was like 90, 89 in the first inning. It's like, no, 95, 96, 95, 96. You're getting it all from the beginning. There's no, you're going right to the scary part of the ride. Like, you're not getting a feel for like, oh, look at this, he's going to get harder in the third or the fourth. No. He's
like getting on a roller coaster right at the loop.
Correct. Right there. You're just going to go in there and you go, okay, oh boy, here we go. And I like that. I like that about him. Again, Martin Maldonado, that's the reason he's here, is he's worked with great pitchers. He's not here for his bat. He's here for his, I know a lot of people are talking about framing. When you have guys like Garrett Crochet throwing strikes, you don't really have to frame. Yeah. It's more about what pitch you're throwing. You'll do a lot of framing when there's a lot of really good pitches, because you got to drop the pitches. And again, the ability to block, I think it helps out a lot the way that they're throwing. But his ball movement is back. And another guy that his ball movement was great, which I thought he looked a lot better, and I'm waiting for his next start, is the Korean Cy Young. His ball was very live. Yeah, he looked great. He looked awesome. Fetty looked strong. Fetty looked very, very good. Soroka looked exactly what I thought he was going to be, but Fedde looked a lot stronger than a lot of people were saying he was going to look. I can see why he was a Cy Young. And when you're a Cy Young, and again, confidence, looks like a totally different picture than he was when he first came up with Washington. And it's confidence, man. When you look at a guy like that, confidence sometimes in the big leagues, I know it's not something that we can measure with analytics, but when you feel comfortable in that uniform and in that stadium and you're like, oh, I can do this, and it clicks, especially for a pitcher, very, very, very dangerous. Because you can be very effective when that clicks and you say, okay, now I can compete at this level. I got this. Then the only thing stopping you is injuries or unforeseen things that happen, but you become a very good pitcher.
Yep, and that's going to wrap up Grafal's grounds in our conversation about Garrett Crochet. We'll get to him in a bit here, though, because he's going to be going up against the Royals this weekend. However, Justin, I opened up Twitter today. You, my friend, had what I called a goat tweet.
You didn't even go tweet it.
Oh, I did go tweet it. It was go tweeted.
I have my glasses.
And let me tell you, normally in this segment, folks, we highlight the buffoons on Twitter. Not this buffoon, though. This guy is a goat. All right, folks, we're going to keep Stone Pony tweets really quick this week. Even though I really miss putting Junior's tweets up here because they usually get people going. But Justin, go ahead. Tell us about your tweet.
So basically, Ryan McGuffey in an interview with Chuck Garfien was saying some very true things about Eloy in regards to his disappointment during his tenure with the Chicago White Sox. And there are people out there in the world that believe that Andrew Vaughn is a bigger disappointment than Eloy. So I put on my chanclas, brushed my teeth, and I shot this bad boy out.
For those of you saying Andrew Vaughn is a bigger disappointment than Eloy, you're crazy as hell. I don't hold my breath when the ball is hit to Vaughn, nor when he has to run down the line. Andrew Vaughn is available. Mid, but available. Eloy is mid and unavailable. You pick.
It was too deep. We might have to translate it for them. There's a lot of goofy people out there, and it shows that a lot of the knowledge out there is not strong. It's a lot of dumb takes. A lot of dumb takes for guys that are professional. If you got dumb takes and you're just a crazy fan, like if I was doing a Bears show, for example, it's understandable. But this is why there's a big difference, okay? Number one, Andrew Vaughn was never a big of a prospect as Eloy Jimenez.
Thank you!
Start off, just conversation-wise. Why do I say that? Eloy Jimenez is supposed to be a bigger prospect, you can argue, than Moncada. Okay? He was up there to be like the Ronald Acuna. He was the guy that the Cubs were considering at a time to keep him over Schwarber. Like, he was the guy, and he was the guy with the White Sox, meaning he has been able to show production at the Alice Burks of the world, but cannot stay on the field. Alice Burks, for example, you can Google him, Baseball Referencing, a great player who,
Rockies, Red Sox.
Had he stayed healthy, he might have been one of the greatest players of all time, but he could not stay on the field. And there's two things that are concerning, again, when it comes to this, because there's players like Ala Bryce Harper, Ronald Acuna, where you get hurt and it's a season-ending injury. Okay? You're hurt, meaning you're done. Something's broken. You can't perform. You're completely done. That's not the case with Eloy. He's had one injury that was like, oh my God, when they took the jersey that he was like almost dead. They took the jersey and Abreu and all that. And it was like literally to the day that happened again. But it's all these nagging injuries. So it was like, oh, he's got nagging injuries because he's a right fielder. Oh, he's nagging injuries because it's so right now, Eloy, all he can do is hit. Andrew Vaughn can play defense. Andrew Vaughn played better outfield, maybe than Eloy played left field, and he's not even an outfielder. Now he's at first base, runs the bases better. Okay, we're not saying he's a better hitter, but Eloy was supposed to be this person, and Eloy today, healthy, would really help this team because with this pitching, if Eloy produced at the level that he has to produce at, and Pantera, you have a 70 team. You have a 70-winning team. Like your team's up there, and you don't have to look at Moncada or the other guys to produce that much, and you take pressure away from everybody. But it wasn't just PK. PK had Jermaine Dye. It wasn't just Frank Thomas. He had Robin Ventura. Batman needs Robin. Okay, why? I know analytics doesn't show you this, but who hits in front of you and hits behind you? If I'm Pantera, I'm fighting Eloy and saying, stop being a baby, okay, and stay in the lineup so that I get pitched to because they don't want to face you. So for him getting hurt again running, for him at a DH position, you got to cut my leg off, man. I've seen guys play with broken fingers. I've seen guys not be able to move and go just to get up there to hit. I saw Frank Thomas in the year of the World Series just so people be scared of him playing like with a broken foot, literally, because we're like, Frank, you're not going to run. All you're going to do is hit. You're either going to walk or go deep or scare somebody. You're going to scare them. They're going to pitch to somebody else or vice versa. So it changes the whole game plan on how do you attack there. And you see Eloy Jimenez, you're like, oh, man, Eloy. And for the part where people said that Ozzie Guillen was dumb, there's teams out there that in a crucial situation with runners in scoring position, when they're locked in, Eloy has a better plate discipline than Pantera. Pantera is still trying to figure that out smart-wise, like having a good at-bat. Like, he might get overexcited or anxious. Eloy, when he's locked in, he's very dangerous. One of the best hitters, again, that in that position. But if he can't be on the field, then you can't produce. And the part that he's been a disappointment is because he produces, okay, when he's on the field. And now he's the primary DH, and he can't stay on there. There's got to be a point where you got to suck it up and play through pain, okay, and play through like, I'm going to play till I really, really get hurt, and I'm going to play like 2 months of it looks so bad that they're going to ask me to take time off and not just say, oh, I'm out.
Bro, I don't want to sound bogus, but Eloy's career could be over at the age of 28. We would never, ever say that about Andrew Vaughn.
No, because you can't offer anything else to the team. If you can't go deep, okay, you can't hit, you can't be on the field. So his Instagram name is the Big Baby. And again, I'm not going to judge anybody on like the drive that they have, but again, got paid. He's been rewarded. The manager's not going to get in his face. Like, players are not getting in his face. Like, there's got to be a point where you look at your teammate and you're like, hey, man, we're in the trenches. Like, we're going to go and play. We're going to go and we're going to grind it out. I'll give you an example. Jim Thome never won a ring with the White Sox. I'll never say ever in my life that Jim Thome is not a grinder. Why? The guy was like 45 years old and was like there at freaking 12 o'clock in the afternoon to go play a 7 o'clock game to get ready to have 4 at-bats. Like, he wasn't feeling great. It wasn't like he was showing up at the ballpark and saying, oh, my God, I feel so good. I saw Paul Konerko play with a broken hammock bone, like bruised bone, for 2 years because he didn't want to get surgery because he would have to miss. Like, I've seen guys play through injuries that you're like, oh, my God. My own father, after the year he came back from the knee injury, he came and he broke his fingers on one of those old newspaper stands.
Yeah.
You like the newspaper. He had one. My brother, it was holding my brother Osney, and me and Oni opened the stand, and he didn't see it when we let it go, and his hand was there, and he broke his tendon. And Herm Schneider said, if we do surgery, you miss a half the season because you won't be able to recover fast enough because it's surgery. And he said, oh, hell no. And he learned how to throw the ball. They did it like a little duck thing, and he learned how to throw the ball like with his fingers up, and he just wouldn't move his fingers, and he would hit with his fingers tape like until You know, they took, but again, it's like one of those things, and then therapy, and then again, he must have been. But back then, guys were like that. That was the nature of the beast. Like you played through pain, you grinded it out.
OJ, these people don't understand. Like, we're not talking about playing through pain on the West Coast or in a controlled climate. We're talking about Midwest baseball with a broken hemat bone.
Yeah, you got to be tough. Here's the part, though.
40 degrees, you're getting jammed. You want to get both your wrists amputated, and you can't because you got another at bat in the sixth.
People are gonna say this is bad. Do you know when I started getting concerned about Eloy Jimenez?
Oh boy.
I'm gonna be honest, because I really think that was the White Sox year.
Was it COVID?
The COVID year. Why? Yeah. Nobody knew that team. They didn't know. I think if they start Crochet now, the way that I just saw him starting, he might mow everybody down. They bring in Dunning again. You beat Oakland. I think it's like
you could have ran away with it. You could have
ran away with it. Correct. Ricky had the fire. Ricky had the guys. Like it was a team that nobody knew. It was a lot of unknowns. Maybe you trade for Lynn there, bring a veteran guy. Like it was a year where there was a lot of unknowns, and they could have just ran with it. It was a season where they didn't have a book on them, okay, and they were hot. He was in Oakland, and there was that debate if he was going to play or not. Okay,
I remember.
And then he hit a double, and he took himself out of the game. He called the trainer, and Hermie, and when I saw him, I said, "Is this dude going to get himself out of the game?" If I'm the manager or if I'm his teammate, I'm like, unless your foot is sawed off, you're going to play because you're not going to score because you're slow already. We just want you for your bat. If you take him out of the lineup, the whole lineup changes. You're staying in, dude. Like, you literally have to be like crawling Kirk Gibson. Like, you're literally not being able to move. You're in the playoffs, man. Like, you find a way. And with that staff, with Herm Schneider, they'll find a way to get you on the field. So for you to be that soft in a team of like guys that are soft, he's the guy that I'm like the most concerned about. Like, I'm getting to a point with him where it's like, I don't think his heart is in it in the sense of like, he's a nice guy, but does the dog, can he get in there and fight? Like, can he get in there and go after it and really grind it out? And that was the thing when they said Carlos Lee, Jermaine Dye, like they let Carlos Lee go, great player, but like that fight inside of him, like that hunger, he is missing that, I believe. And that's why I think that's the difference between guys being great and he's gonna make money and doing all that. But to say that Andrew Vaughn's a bigger kind of like fiasco, number one, he hasn't been long enough.
They use the word disappointment, OJ.
Disappointment. Here's the thing. And we can talk about the milkshake now. The reason that the White Sox marketing is talking about the damn milkshake, which is very good, by the way, is because they got smart and said, we're going to stop pushing player agendas and start telling you guys that this guy is the next coming of any player that's been amazing. Because for the last 4 years, every year they picked one guy and they sold him like he was going to be a Hall of Famer. And guess what? When he's not a Hall of Famer, you're like, oh my God, he's so disappointing. When you look at Andrew Vaughn and the way that he is projected to be who he is. Get a gap guy, be a 330 hitter, hit 20 home runs, play great defense. He's not a Frank Thomas 45 home run guy slugging. No, but he's going to give you great at bats. He's a good player. You can win with a guy like him. That's what you have. These people are just like disconnected on the value of the player they have because they were sold wrong. Like you're getting a guy like when people are like Kopech's throwing balls. Yes, he's always had control problems.
When we made the trade for Dylan Cease and Eloy, they were building Eloy's plaque in the Hall of Fame.
500 home runs. People were saying he's going to be better than Ronald Acuna.
People were telling the OG Kenwo that you could pencil in Eloy for 500 home runs. Like, the healthcare in the United States of America isn't good enough to keep Eloy alive long enough.
Giancarlo Stanton is more healthy than Eloy.
Damn.
And that's something I want to emphasize here is because Eloy is 20, air quote 27, but 6 years in his service time. His rookie year, he had 122 games in 2019. Then it went 55 games in 20, 55 games in 21, 84 games in 22, 120 games in 23, 3 games so far in 24. He only went over 20 home runs once, and that was his rookie year at 31 home runs in those 122 games.
Hey Gonzo, let me ask you something. When is the next time you think Eloy will hit more home runs than Andrew Vaughn? When's the next time?
It's not going to happen.
When's the next time he's going to drive in more runs than Andrew Vaughn?
It's not going to happen.
Okay, then.
Okay, I'm gonna let's play a game.
Uh-oh.
Daniel Palka. Hit 29 home runs in Major League Baseball. Daniel Palka, okay, a guy that we said was no good. He had an amazing year, then he fell off, had 29 home runs. Dayan Viciedo, a guy that they ran out of the city. He had a league through the back door. They said, oh, what a waste. This guy's a horrible player. The Tank hit 21 home runs in 2014. His last year, they let him go at the age of 25 after 5 years in the big leagues because he didn't have enough power. Okay, they ran Viciedo out there. Okay, Avisail Garcia. Okay, Avisail Garcia was playing right field in Chicago. Fans did not believe that he had enough power. He hit 29 with Milwaukee, but when he was with the White Sox at the young age, and he was only hitting 18, 19 home runs, they ran him out of town at the age of 27. So, again, when you're looking at guys, comparing him to guys that have been run out of town for what he was supposed to project, it's an issue.
It's a better investment putting protection around the lineup for Vaughn than it will be for Eloy. Think about that, because you could go into your payroll and break the bank trying to put some talent around Eloy, and he's the only one missing out the lineup. At least if I want to bite the bullet and be like, okay, Vaughn, you're gonna be the cake. We'll just find some icing and candles. You know what I'm saying? At least you'll get your worth back, because at least you know Vaughn's gonna be there. And if you got to move him around the diamond, let's just say, okay, Vaughn, you got to play third base next Sunday. Okay, Vaughn, you're gonna have to give me 7 innings in left field next Wednesday. He can do that. Imagine asking Eloy to give you innings anywhere else except the bench.
But here's the problem, though. Here's where Grifol and the coaches and the players, at one point, you got to say enough is enough. And if that's the issue, again, you have to, because you cannot let that become the culture of the team. Okay, this team cannot afford that.
You know what the sad part about this is this kind of goes just into my bold prediction from last week. OJ, I said that Vaughn's going to have a career year this year, but that wasn't my bold aspect of it. My bold aspect was he's going to have his career year, and they're going to trade him at the deadline. So, in this discussion, Vaughn.
At the deadline again, but yes. When you're doing that, but like Eloy, here's a sad part. If Eloy was healthy and found a way to stay in the lineup, he would hit the home runs just because of his natural God-given ability.
And then they'd probably trade both of them.
Correct.
But in my bold prediction, that means that Eloy is going to be on the White Sox longer than Vaughn is.
Wow.
And I want to end it on this. This also means that it just sucks, because at the end of the day, you wanted Eloy to bring in as much value to trade him, because at the end of the day, he's probably going to be that club option in 25. So it would have been nice to at least trade him. But that's probably not the case anymore. He's just going to have another one of those seasons of what we just went over with 55 games, or if he even makes it to 120 games this year for the third time in his 7 years.
And the people defending him, by the way, because they like him, because he's big baby. He's mom. That's the part that, like, if Moncada, I'm just saying, like, if Moncada was out as much as Eloy, like, and again, he's the most hated. Here's the other part where Andrew Vaughn, okay, the reason Andrew Vaughn is not as disappointing as Eloy. Eloy Jimenez got a contract for $43 million. Okay, he's making $13 million this year.
And 16 next year.
And 16 next year. I think Andrew Vaughn's still playing for the league minimum.
Emphasis on the playing.
Second year arbitration.
Correct. Emphasis on the playing. Club option for Eloy. 2020-25, 16.5. Club option for 2026 at 29, 18.5. There's people that have been released from teams because people said, somebody told me like, oh, Javi Baez. I said, Javi Baez plays shortstop. They can hit him ninth.
And they'll never and no
play
team,
shortstop.
You got to think, no matter how bad Javier Baez is offensively, no team would benefit without having him at shortstop. He's an asset defensively, regardless. Correct. Eloy will never be an asset if he's not hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Correct.
Never.
Correct. And I'm thinking about even for him now, which is we can talk analytics. I don't think even for him now getting hits is even a thing. No. Because if he walks, he's at first. You're gonna need a freaking home run or a triple to score him. Triple, you guys might be both standing at third. Like he slows the game down. I'm gonna be honest. With this team, though, the way that this team is looking to be built on speed and running and grinding, he's the misfit in the lineup. If I'm Pedro, I drop Moncada down in the lineup. I put one of the guys in the number 2 that can put the ball in play and bunt whenever I want him to, and let Moncada protect in that spot.
Yep. And to sum it up, like I said, he's likely going to be a club option in 25. We're going to be looking for a new designated hitter in 2025. So, guys, let's jump forward here. Let's get to our White Sox daily with their schedule here. So, gents, Thursday through Sunday, we're going to Kansas City. We're on the road. Tomorrow's matchup, Soroka versus Seth Lugo. I like that matchup. I'm going to go with Seth Lugo. Sorry.
How does that make sense?
Seth Lugo. I said I like it because of Seth on the mound, even though I dropped him on the fantasy roster. However, Friday, I also like it. Fetty versus Singer. I'm going to go with Fetty on Friday.
I got Fetty Friday.
Saturday, Flexen versus Waka Flocka.
I think we're going to get destroyed Saturday. That might be a day they score 13.
That's the day. But then on Sunday, we tie the series because it's Crochet versus Marsh. Marsh is looking good, though, but not as good as Crochet. Yeah, guys, I think they're going to tie the series. It's going to be the 4-game series. I think it's going to go 2-2. Highlight really quickly. We all know Bobby Witt Jr. over there, the superstar at shortstop. But OJ's boy, Michael Garcia.
Also, by the way, Ronald Acuña's brother, which no one knows that. That's his brother. They just have different last names.
You could be related to somebody and not have the same last name?
Yeah. You can, yeah. It happens. Yeah. It's called philandering. By the way, don't be picking at it. By the way, Ronald Acuña might be hated. Cachete, his dad, got like 5 kids with 5 different mamas. So
it happens, man.
That's a fact. You know what? Talking about Mikey Garcia, though, very dangerous. I think that he tied as many home runs as he hit last year already.
Yep.
Swinging for the fences. Kansas City looks good. This is a team that the White Sox need to either split with them or take the series. Why? It's Kansas City. You're at the same level. You compete against them. You grind it out. This is where Pedro needs to prove that he's a better manager and a better staff than their team. Cannot let games get away and take it, because this is where, if you come off playing so great against the Braves, you got to take this. These are the teams that you got to like battle with and not lose games just because you lose. That's why I'm mad about Detroit. Even though Detroit's a good team, game 1 should have been won. Like, those are the ones that you're like, this one should have been taken. That's how you get to 70.
Especially at home versus Detroit.
Correct. At home versus Detroit. Kansas City, I don't know what's in the food there. We never play well in Kansas City. Even when Ozzie was the manager, they never play well. But again, it's a good matchup. Again, the White Sox are going to the hitters are going to be seen, not Atlanta Braves pitching, not Detroit Tigers pitching. This is probably the easiest pitching staff that they have faced since the season has started. So I think that the team's going to have better offensive numbers than what we've seen the last couple of days.
You want to touch up on any of the matchups there, Justin?
Just probably Alec Marsh. He's an intriguing pitcher because, like, on TV, you see the 95, but what jumps out at you is a knuckle curveball. So what if you're Luis Robert, if you're Andrew Vaughn, if you're Paul DeYoung, and he's slugging right-handed hitters, what you got to do is make sure that you cut the plate in half vertically. Do not let him change your eye level. Do not swing at two different levels of the plate. If you're gonna chase the high heat, stay up there. If you're gonna live around your knees, go look knuckle curveball, but fight that fastball off low, because Alec Marsh, much like Brad Keller and Brady Singer, they take advantage of hitters trying to use the whole plate against them. No, good pitching always beat good hitting. Take the pressure off yourself. Go in there with a plan. Like Andrew Benintendi, Dominic Fletcher, Brandon Shoemake, like even Yoan Moncada. I want to see all of these guys in motion, and I want to see some very good defense being played, because Kansas City will put the pressure on you all 9 innings. I just watched them literally irritate Corbin Burns for 6 2/3 innings. Literally irritate him, and he only gave up 2 runs.
Yeah, they're gonna have guys moving. This is a big series for I want to see Pedro, how he builds his lineup. I hope I see the young DHing at least one of the days. But it's Gavin Sheets probably. It's going to be Gavin Sheets getting those at bats at the DH positions most likely. Let me know if you guys think any different. This is where his moment to shine is. Why? Defensively, this team has been built where you don't have a position with your glove. The outfielders are very above average defending. So for you to get into a game defensively in the outfield is going to be very hard. And Andrew Vaughn, like we have said before, is somebody that stays in the game and plays games. So he will not be leaving the first base a lot. So for Mr. Sheets, this is going to be an opportunity for him to get the at-bats. With Eloy's injury, he'll get more at-bats at the DH, and he can show something. Why I still like Sheets. His base hit, people were making fun of it because it was a blooper. The reason that he blooped is because he stayed the whole way inside that ball and battled his way into that. If that ball hits his barrel, it's into the 108 section, but it runs in because it's a good pitch. He got a base hit on a good pitch. I want to see a lot more from Gavin. I still think that, big lefty bat can do a lot. An opportunity for him. I think that this is a big series for him. I want to see him in there, and then hopefully him and the young share the DH position. Again, you look at the record 2-4. I don't have a lot of respect for the Royals. Never have, never will. The Sox are 1-4. So I think that it's, this is where you say, hey, we don't want to be last, and play for that pride, man. And that's something this team is starting to kind of show that, they're little grinders. They put the ball in play. They run well. So again, just play with some pride and stay in the games and figure out a way to win and take one inning at a time. And so far, really good defense, compact, carry that with the Royals. Huge series for Martin Maldonado, by the way, because he will be tested with the Kansas City guys. They will be trying to take bases from him. So we'll probably see him throwing a lot.
Yeah, and Alec Marsh, first start was against Baltimore. He went 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned run.
Oh, quick question. Did you guys know that the young is from Antioch? Antioch, Illinois? Antioch?
Yeah, I recall them bringing that up.
So how come no one's using him? Like everybody says that Nicky Lopez is like the Chicago everything. He's from Naperville. Where's Antioch at?
That's west on 80. You gotta go
you gotta see. He's
hour
got
and a half.
They're neither of them are from Chicago, so we got to give the young that love like Nicky Lopez been getting.
But so Lopez, that's Chicagoland suburbs. Antioch is outside of the Chicagoland area.
Suburb?
So you're within the suburbs of the city. That's what they call it, Chicagoland. Antioch is hour and a half to 2 hours west in the country of central Illinois.
I figured it was somewhere outside, but I never I didn't know that. So I guess I'm from Chicago because
No,
I live in a surrounding suburb of Chicago.
Yeah, you're Chicagoland.
Chicagoland area.
Yep.
I'm sure my taxes reflect that.
Real quick.
Hey, Jay, you don't want to worry about your taxes. Just make more money, baby.
Yeah.
Real quick, Don Garcia. He says, I think Garcia will definitely be the DH moving forward until Eloy returns. Do you guys think Robbie Grossman will get a call up anytime
I think
soon?
he will eventually. I think the Rock has. Hey, let's talk about that real quick. Montgomery is making look AAA so far look like it's not even it's pointless for him to be there. He's going to make it very interesting for them. Grossman is going to make it very interesting for them. The AAA team is going to have some guys that are going to be moving up, which I was very surprised. And I hope that they make a decision before tomorrow with playing one player down. I can't say man because it's inappropriate. One player down with Eloy deciding not to go into the IL.
They should have put him on the 10. I don't understand why they didn't.
I'm saying he can pinch run. And I know he ain't Kirk Gibson and saying, I'm going to go get a pinch hit at bat.
Not going to happen.
Because if you can't start the game, why would
he doesn't even like the playoffs?
I'm just saying, though, like, if there's guys that are like, there's guys that want to come in, like, even if they're hurt, like, I'll give you that at bat, even though I can't run. So, like, you're playing one man down. It's like a joke of, like, people think it's not a big deal, but it actually is a big deal, especially when late in the games, you know you're going to probably have to try to pinch hit for a couple of these guys because of lack of power, and you might want to look for a bomb to go ahead in the game. So it's interesting how they're going to handle that and how they're handling the whole situation.
Well, just to wrap up the schedule here, before next show, they're going to go on the road again. They're at Cleveland. Monday through Wednesday, they are in Cleveland. Matchups are to be determined. I would guess, though, they got to figure out what they're going to do with that fifth spot rotation. That takes an effect on Monday. There's a lot of talk that Nastrini pitched tonight, and it lines them up with Monday. So do they bring him up?
I hope
but also the deadline for the service time is on Monday. So it's really, if they can go past that by a day and then bring him up, and then they'll take advantage of that year or whatever. But bring him Nastrini up. Shut down the Guardians. I want to. No, not just one day, but you can.
I'm saying like he's not coming up. They're gonna say they're gonna let that day pass. And Nastrini,
I hope that if they bring him up, I'm calling him up in Dynasty for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of strikeouts against OJ's Guardians.
Exactly, double digits for sure.
He had OJ. He did have a hot spring.
Oh, he did. He's a great pitcher. I'm saying, like, again, I don't think that they'll do it for money situations.
Which this is what pisses me off, because, like, with the new collective bargaining agreement, it rewards the player for service time. So I was frustrated that Leisure made the roster, but Nastrini didn't, and now they're playing this game. It just frustrates me. But besides Monday, Tuesday, I'm guessing is going to be. Oh, so Nastrini would go against Bieber, I'm thinking, on Monday.
No hitter.
Tuesday, Soroka.
You might be right.
Tuesday, Soroka versus Allen, likely. But I don't know what Wednesday's going to bring. But those are my projected starters for that series so far.
Cy Young Bieber is going to hopefully not throw no hitter.
You know how I feel about that, OJ. You already know how I feel about that, man. I've seen enough. Like, Shane Bieber's winning the American League, Cy Young. This is the best he's
you guys facing? Is Tristan pitching in that series?
I think he would go on Wednesday. I think he'd go on Wednesday.
I like that.
Worried about Tristan McKenzie?
No. I think that's a good White Sox matchup. Does he get if he gets the White? Yeah, I think that's. I think regardless, unless the Guardians face the fifth starter, I think the White Sox are going to fare very well against Tristan McKenzie.
Yeah. But to wrap up,
looks like garbage.
OJ, to wrap this up, we're going to bring a little fantasy talk before we do picks. You want to begin fantasy? Because I know you're off to a hot start.
Oh, we got to talk Spanish. My fantasy team.
There you go.
People second guess those picks. You know what?
Yep. Do you want me to break it down? What you got?
my competition this week wasn't, I wasn't going against the Dodgers. I was going more, I was facing Oakland Athletics of
Ivan Rodriguez's Tigers.
Yeah, when the season ends, I would not be surprised. My opponent, again, his roster for this week especially did not fare too well for him. But I got some hot guys, man. I went on my team is more on a lot of picks of that, like, Micah Garcia, like, he wasn't anybody's radar.
I want to highlight some dark horses for your team. I like what I've seen on a Quan starting the year for you.
Quan's amazing.
Quan's batting 353. He's got 2 extra base hits, 3 ribbies, 9 runs.
All of his extra base hits came in the same game.
9 runs.
Come on, man.
But pitching wise, Keller's got lit up for you. But other than that,
I don't think I threw a Baldy today. Just for strategy wise, I got offered a trade today for Micah Garcia, but I'm gonna hold. This is my disappointment. I drafted him, Eloy Jimenez. He was in my reserve. It was between him and Soler in playing time, I believe. I'm hopefully looking at the right league, but again, he was in my team, and Eloy basically started off slow, and now I can't even try to figure out matchups because my philosophy is somebody on the Sox is going to drive in at least 90 runs, regardless of how bad their offense is, and it could have been him and Pantera, and especially with Pantera in front, he'll hit it. Pantera's scoring. The guy flies. But he is on the DL again. So I have a little injured reserve list there going, and I'm waiting for him to get injured so I can put him on the IL. But again, I had him. That was the guy that I thought would be getting more playing time. But again,
Bieber really has carried you so far on the pitching staff.
Bro, 12 innings.
That's what an ace does.
20 Ks, no runs.
That's oof. But OJ, quick reminder, you might want to bring up Yamamoto out of the minors.
No, not yet. We're going with Yamamoto on matchups. I was scared of Yamamoto after that first start. So
why? You didn't like the bat? You didn't like the batting practice?
I don't know who Yamamoto is. I know he's great, but I don't know who he is. He is if the opportunity comes up again, because Rondon
what you should do is you should drop Maeda, and you can play your matchup game with him as a reserve.
But I like them. I like Kong Maeda. But again, I will do that. I will make that move, but I did not bring up Yamamoto.
Why are you trying to tell him to run his team?
But why I'm telling you this, OJ, is because Sunday's the last day.
You guys won't listen to him, so maybe I will.
Oh, no. Sunday, we're unlimited claims right now until Sunday, and then when week 2 begins, you're back to 6 moves a week.
I won't make that many moves, bro. I'm old school. The one that you guys are not mentioning because their team is garbage, literally garbage. My friend has not won a game yet in the big leagues. Francisco Alvarez. I just saw that they just signed Julio Teheran to their staff. So Julio Teheran and Jose Quintana are in the same team. Oh, back to
1 and 2. 1 and 2.
1 and 2. This is like MLB The Show 2017. What a great.
They went from Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Justin Verlander to Jose Quintana and fucking Julio Teheran, bro.
Correct. So he was a huge help. And again, I might but yeah, he'll bring up obviously we know what Crotchet did. And then Chris Sale. 5 innings, didn't give me the quality start, but he looked great. But I like my team. I picked a lot of Latinos, like guys that I thought were gonna have good years. But Alvarez is a guy that on the radar, he's a young catcher. But no, I look strong. I want to finish strong. Got to get the wins where they're at. But it's been great. Got offered a couple trades already early on. I know there's a lot of people looking for
None from me. Not from
you. Somebody's looking for a third baseman. I got offered today.
That's wonderful.
I said no. Juan Diego asked me, "Do you want a third? I need a third baseman." I said, "Well, I need a second wife, but we can't get what we want."
What the fuck?
I'm philandering. I'm gonna make people hate me.
Hey, let me tell you something. your curveball or your slider isn't as good as Clevinger. You're not going to get away with it, buddy.
Trust me. I also did not get paid $4 million to go home. I cannot afford it.
All right, Justin, you can go take away your matchup so you can go answer the call for nature. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, on my team, honestly, like, you guys really fucked up because you let me draft one of the few catchers that I even like in baseball. Yainer Diaz, one of my dark horses. Eugenio Suarez has been killing for me, but my MVP right now has been Christopher Morel for the Chicago Cubs. He's the best. Listen to me very close. He's the best baseball player in Chicago, and I'm gonna use that loser to win a championship.
Wait. Like in all of Chicago?
Literally, like as far as like playing baseball,
better than Pantera.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's going to end well for you.
It doesn't matter. I bet you he has a better. Morel's going to have a better year than Pantera this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like,
if Pantera has a better year than Morel, the White Sox lose 115 games.
Morel's taking walks right now. Pantera is striking out 3.5 times a game.
I didn't even know that Morel was drafted in any fantasy. I just thought he was.
I got him in all my leagues. That's the only Cubs player I like.
Wow, that we need to save that. That will probably be one of the greatest receipts ever. Yeah. For either way, either the greatest prediction of all times or
what?
Remember
Morel's when Justin gonna have a better year?
Yeah. I think Morel's gonna have a better year than Luis Robert.
Do you guys? Anybody? You guys want Kyle Hendricks? Anyone? Hendricks?
No. I want Max Fried. But low key, I think the secret sauce for my team in fantasy is my pitching staff because, like, okay, for the closers, Josh Hader, Andres Munoz, and Abner Uribe, solid in the bullpen. As far as my rotation, Cole Reagans, Tanner Bybee, I know he was a little bit iffy. Julio Luzardo, and I also got Jacob deGrom, Andrew Rasmussen in the microwave waiting. So Gonzo, when it's coming down to end of July, early August, and your friends are upset that they're not making the playoffs and they want to change the rules, remember this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If I lose to you, Morel, as the best hitter of that week, I will.
Yeah, it's over.
So, I like Justin's agenda with Reagans. Fully support with that agenda. However, I gotta highlight your boy Uribe. 3 saves already in the year. That's a good arm in that bullpen.
Yeah, there was 100.
Munoz was having a little rough patch a little bit.
The whole Mariners organization is having a rough patch, bro. You see what happened to George Kirby?
Not as bad as the Marlins.
They'll bounce back. Don't worry. My Seattle boys will bounce back.
Bounce back where?
Don't worry about it, OJ. Don't worry about it.
Bro, the Marlins,
they have a better shot at making the postseason than your Guardians.
What? The Guardians are not supposed to make the postseason. The Mariners have been saying that they're going to make the postseason for the last 7 years. They're the Tampa Bay Rays, but
they did make it. They did make it, though.
The playoffs, yeah. What, that 1-game playoff, the 1 series?
Yes.
Oh, wow. In my family, we don't celebrate those types of banners.
All right, Justin, you can come on back because we're going to get to picks when you come back. But I'm going to wrap it up on the fantasy side of it because right after OJ, I have the second biggest lead going up against my best friend, David. David's having a rough time right now. But as far as the hitting goes from my side of it, I mean, we all know what Bobby Witt Jr. is doing. Kerry Carpenter's kind of surprised me a little bit, not going to lie. Conforto and Happ are laying the groundwork on my utility side. They're my dark horses right now. Pitching side, I'm going off. But it's kind of crazy that I'm winning the pitching side of it, considering I'm going up against Crochet, Nick Pivetta. Who else did he have?
Sounds like you're going up against a terrible manager.
It must be, even though I'm
ain't no way I got boys tossing zeros up and I'm still losing. Hell no.
Did we ban?
Oh, he's got Galen. He's got Galen too, and Cease, and I'm still being him on the pitching side of it. And he's got Bobby Miller.
Did you guys put that to a vote if we can have seasonally?
What do you mean?
Is he allowed to be in the fantasy league once he's picked up?
Who?
Mike Clevinger?
Mike Clevinger. Is he allowed to be in pick
Hell
up?
yeah.
Oh,
You can
I
get
don't
him.
know. I don't know. I don't think if we were gonna go, since I don't know. I'm sure he's banned in some.
There's only one rule. If we get Mike Clevinger on the fantasy, he has to have himself on his team, and he has to start himself on his start days.
I just want to have Clevy on the show just to get completely canceled.
That'd be the greatest.
Because there's a list, right? On like there's somebody made a list of like. By the way, who has a list, an Excel spreadsheet of all the podcast shows out there? That's wild. Number one.
Oh, that was Sean. That was Sean.
I know that was awesome. The fact that somebody has the time to do that, but
I was fucking with him on that one because he misspelled our show, and I was fucking with him.
So it's like when you rank yourself, it's like when you win like Miss Universe, and then there's like most popular and best dressed and most intellectual. It's like the canceled White Sox show, the Blackout Show. You want to get your feelings hurt, go to the Blackout Show. That's what we're gonna win.
We got one last thing coming at you. Time to begin season 2 of Pick to Click. All right, guys. I am the reigning Pick to Click champ. And because I'm so nice, I'm going to go in reverse order. So, Justin, go ahead.
Okay. We got to get him all the help he needs.
You can get first selection.
So, here. You do this. You people do this every week. You give me layups. But today I'm going to take the slam dunk. I'm going to take the White Sox leader in hits and on base percentage, Yoan Moncada. And you know what? Actually, there's a special segment of the show that we saved right where we close up to where I can have some positive remarks about some of the people in my life that has made a positive impact. So I'll reserve the rest of my comments for then.
Okay. OJ, go ahead, my friend.
Man, now I'm scrambling.
Yeah.
That was my pick. That was a good one. But you know what? I'm going to go with the MVP of the team. Safe pick. I'm going to go with Pantera.
I thought you was going to say Paul DeYoung, somebody who matters.
No, he's played well, but I'm going to go with Pantera, Kansas City. You should have a good week.
I'm going to go with Bobby Witt Jr. No, I'm just fucking with you. Justin didn't find that funny. All right.
Not at all.
I'm going to go with the only guy that I can call an ace, and that is Garrett Crochet.
We're back to picking pitchers for the Pick to Click.
Yeah, you better believe it, because not like Eloy or anyone else is going to help me beat those two guys. I got one shot. I got one shot.
By the way, so he's got 2 starts, right?
No, I didn't even pick a 2-starter. The 2-starter would have been probably Soroka, but I'm not going to go down that route.
Okay.
So I got to hope that you two, that Moncada and Robert absolutely suck the next 5 games, or bat very minimal, so I can win a Pick to Click beginning of the year. But let me type it away real quick. Is there any dark horses that you think would have been left out there?
What do you mean, for the Pick to Click?
Yeah.
Brendan Shoemaker. He's going to see a lot.
Poor man's Darby Swanson?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to see a lot of right-handed pitching from Kansas City. He's going to have the advantage, at least a handedness advantage.
I think he looked great. No,
yeah.
I would. He swung the bat well. I would not go against it. I'm very disappointed at the Italian Stallion. 091 to start off the season and 11 at bats. Dominic Fletcher.
Yeah.
I would have expected more from him, but I think, you know, who's going to wake up? Our man at first base.
You think Opie?
Opie's going to wake up. Ray Clubb had a birthday. I think that that 188 is going to go up. I think that he will hit his first home run this week.
That ball hit deep.
You're going to go deep. You're going to go deep. 16 at bats. You'll probably end up like with another getting to 30. You should probably have his first home run within his first 30 at bats. So,
yeah. So our pick to clicks. Justin picked Moncada. OJ, you picked Pantara. I picked Crochet, and that's going to begin the 2024 pick to click season.
It's going to be a hard season for pick to click.
It's going to be rough. Guys, it's time for shout outs. Justin, take it away.
Well, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to the one and only beautiful Asia. Last week, I chose to go a different route because Gonzo destroyed my shout out for Asia. This week, we're getting back on track. Asia, I love you, and I appreciate all the hard work you do for me and other people around the United States. Secondly, got to give a shout out to my favorite player in franchise history, Yohan Moncada. I don't have a problem with your effort these days. I understand you're in a contract year, and we could go with the low-hanging fruit. Your plate approach and your aggressiveness early in counts this year, I love it. Your defense right now, there was one ball that you tried to be a little suavecito and go down on one knee and try to pick up. You didn't need to do that, and you got burned for it. Other than that, you've been great. So shout out to you, Moncada, carrying the White Sox, carrying my fantasy league on Fantrax. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Let's make this money.
I'm surprised you didn't drop the link for Asia's cookies.
No free advertisements for nobody.
Shout out to Asia for putting up with Justin. Thank you so much. I don't have that, man. Excited baseball's back. Come here for the truth. We're gonna give it to you real. I guess I'm very happy that everybody survived Clevinger signing. I know there's a lot of voodoo dolls out there trying to put needles in his arm, probably with some Ouija board trying to get him so he doesn't bat his feet. But no, all joking aside, hey man, back into baseball. We're excited. The teams looked a lot better than I thought it would defensively. So I'm looking forward to another season. I'm very excited about fantasy baseball. So shout out to our fantasy league, keeping it real, keeping it fun. And again, just come out, check out the Guillen Grid for all your content on baseball and other subjects.
Awesome. My picks to click. My picks to click and shout out is going to be Soraya. She's studying for her exam right now. She's very determined right now. Who else do I got? I'm going to go with Don Garcia Jr. I haven't seen you in the chat in a minute. Here he is. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
The Don
is back. Other than that, I don't got anything else. I don't think, actually. No. 2 more people. I got 2 more people. One, I got to shout out Oso. Oso was having a tough time in the batting cages yesterday.
So I'm going to explain that. So for people, Oso was crying. First of all, to all the men lacking testosterone out there, asking why a 3-year-old is having a bottle. He's 3, so he's drinking a bottle at 3. So he's 3 years old. So when he got to the stadium, in the United States, there's a lot of rules. Guaranteed rate has a lot of rules. So when he's used to when he gets to the stadium in Venezuela and they're hitting in the cage, especially with guys like Ronald, he goes in there with them and like plays around and jokes around and just have a good time. When they got there, he was pretty pissed off because he got off the car and he was sleeping. And when he got there, he went right to the cage and we told him no. So Ronald thought it was funny. Here's the best part of the story. Ronald asked to see Oso, and he'll be there when Cleveland's in town, and he'll be there. So these guys are making fun of a 3-year-old that already at 3 is probably cooler than they'll ever be in their Twitter world. But yeah, that's lack of testosterone. But yeah, he did well. But he went to the stadium. He's a franchise. People in Venezuela were mad, man. Tiburones fans love their Oso. They think he's a good luck charm. And again, Oso's got more recent wins than many of the Sox fans. I'm sure the people that were talking were like 2 when the White Sox won the World Series, claiming rings that they were in diapers.
Damn.
Oh, something funny. Acuna had his nails painted like Caleb. Good sign for your quarterback.
I like it.
What's Acuna's quarterback rating?
I'm just saying, though. I think it's the thing that young guys do. I just thought it was funny when I saw it. I said, "Oh, bunch of people about to lose it."
You should have took a photo of it so we could have.
I have it. Look, zoom into the picture of also crying. You can see it.
We gotta do it. We gotta zoom in and then tag the show and
tag the show.
And tag Caleb. We gotta tag Caleb.
Do you think
too.
Acuna be better under center or out of the shotgun?
Under
He's
center.
a great athlete.
Off-platform throws, really good.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
You will soon. You will soon.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Falls around the corner. We'll be there. But yeah, no. Oso's got to deal with the franchise's rules while he's around. Good for Oso.
He's a celebrity.
He's going to be slowly going to turn that franchise around the more he's there, following every superstar around. But also going to shout out Slavko. You did a hell of a good job with the Big Ten Network. And I know the Illini is out of it, but Purdue's still in there in the March Madness. So he's putting a lot of hard work in, dealing with a lot right now. And Slavko, can't wait till you come back, my friend. Giving you a shout out. Guys, that's going to do it for shout outs. But I think we covered everything tonight, guys. We covered Clevinger, Crotchet's amazing performance. We talked about Eloy and his off and on time here on the White Sox. Hopefully he comes back sooner than later. We got into some fantasy. We got to the schedule. Guys, that is what we've covered tonight. Hell of a show. Everybody, once and for all, thank you again for joining us and being in the chat with us. Thank you for watching the Blackout Show.